The distress beacon pierced through the void of space like a needle through fabric. Commander Raza Malik adjusted his ship's trajectory, his weathered hands dancing across the holographic controls with practiced precision. 23 years of deep space rescue operations had taught him that every beacon mattered, no matter how remote or unlikely the source. "Another derelict?" asked Liana Chen, his navigator and xenobiology specialist, her dark eyes reflecting the blue glow of the scanner displays. She had joined his crew 3 years ago, fresh from the academy, but had quickly proven herself invaluable with her encyclopedic knowledge of alien species. "Unknown vessel, designation. Well, that's interesting." Raza frowned at the readings. "The ship's composition doesn't match any known material in our databases, and it's old, Liana. Ancient. Their rescue vessel, the Humanitarian, slipped through the asteroid field toward the source of the beacon. What they found defied explanation. A crystalline ship that seemed to grow rather than be built, its organic curves pulsing with faint bioluminescent patterns." "Life signs?" Raza asked, already suiting up. "2, but they're unlike anything I've ever seen. High metabolic rate, elevated body temperature, and—" Liana paused, double-checking her readings. "Raza, their neural activity is off the charts. Whatever they are, they're incredibly intelligent." The airlock hissed as they boarded the alien vessel. The interior was a marvel of bioengineering, with walls that breathed and floors that adapted to their footsteps. Following the life signs, they descended into what appeared to be a nursery chamber. There, in a nest of crystalline fibers, lay 2 creatures no larger than house cats. They resembled the dragons of human mythology. Elongated necks, membranous wings, and scales that shifted color like oil on water. But these were no fantasy creatures. They were real, breathing, and as their large, intelligent eyes fixed on Raza, something profound passed between them. The smaller of the 2, with silver-blue scales, let out a soft chirping sound and stretched tiny claws toward him. The larger one, scales shimmering gold-green, tilted its head with unmistakable curiosity. "They're babies," Liana whispered, her scientific detachment cracking. "And they're alone." Raza knelt beside the nest. In his years of rescue operations, he had saved countless beings across the galaxy. But something about these creatures tugged at something deep in his human heart. The protective instinct that had driven him to dedicate his life to helping others flared stronger than ever. "Their parents?" he asked. Liana's tricorder painted a grim picture. "The ship's been drifting for weeks. No other life signs. They're orphans, Raza." As if understanding her words, the 2 baby dragons pressed closer, together, their eyes never leaving Raza's face. The smaller one made that chirping sound again, more insistently this time. "We can't leave them," Raza said, though he knew the complications this would bring. First contact protocols, xenobiology quarantine procedures, the bureaucratic nightmare that would follow. "I wasn't suggesting we should," Liana replied, already preparing containment fields. "But Raza, what if they imprint on us? Many species form irreversible bonds with the first beings they encounter after trauma." Too late. As Raza gently lifted the silver-blue hatchling, it immediately curled against his chest, purring with a sound like distant thunder. The golden-green one followed suit, climbing up his arm to perch on his shoulder, nuzzling against his neck. "Well," Raza said with a rueful smile, "I guess we're parents now." The journey back to the Humanitarian revealed the true extent of the hatchling's attachment. They refused to be separated from Raza for even a moment. When Liana tried to conduct basic scans, they positioned themselves protectively in front of their chosen guardian. Tiny wings spread in defiance. "Remarkable," Liana breathed, observing their behavior. "Their neural patterns synchronize when they're near you. It's as if your presence stabilizes them emotionally." Over the following days, as they traveled toward the nearest Federation station, the bond only grew stronger. The dragons, whom Raza had started calling Silver and Goldie, much to Liana's scientific dismay, demonstrated intelligence that astounded them both. They learned to operate basic ship functions by watching, understood human emotions with uncanny accuracy, and showed problem-solving abilities that rivaled many sentient species. But it was their devotion to Raza that truly amazed everyone. They followed him everywhere, curling up on his lap during meals, perching on his shoulders during duty shifts, and sleeping curled against him at night. When duty required him to leave them with Liana, they would pace frantically until his return. "The translation matrix is finally coming online," Liana announced one morning. "We might actually be able to communicate with them properly." The Ao first translated words from Silver nearly brought Raza to tears. "Father safe? Father stay?" Goldie's contribution was equally heartbreaking. "No, leave us, please, Father." "I'm not going anywhere," Raza assured them, his voice thick with emotion. The implications were staggering. Federation xenobiologists would want to study them. Politicians would debate their citizenship status. Military strategists would wonder about their potential as weapons, given their obvious intelligence and the advanced technology of their origin ship. But Raza had made his choice the moment he held them in his arms. These weren't specimens or assets. They were his children now, as surely as if they shared his DNA. "The Federation will have questions," Liana warned, though her own attachment to the hatchlings was obvious. "Let them ask," Raza replied, watching Silver and Goldie play with a holographic puzzle he'd created for them. "These two chose me as their father, and I choose them as my children. That's all the law I recognize." As the humanitarian approached the station, the two baby dragons pressed close to their human father, their scales shimmering with contentment. They had lost their birth parents, their home, their entire species' legacy. But they had found something, perhaps even more precious, a human willing to love them unconditionally. In the vast, often cold expanse of space, sometimes the greatest rescue missions weren't about saving lives. They were about creating families. And in the depths of his heart, Raza knew that he hadn't just rescued two orphaned aliens. They had rescued him too.